Well, a lot of things have been told to you about me by Rishi sir, so thanks a lot for that. I'm very happy to see very few people present here, because when number of students are less, then that indicates the genuinity of the students. Right? So I presume that for those who are there in the class, they are genuinely interested what is going to happen in this subject. Let me frighten you right at the start that I'll be talking to you for around 26 hours. This is just 1 minute I started. So you will have to be really patient in listening to me. Of course, I'll be making my sessions as interesting as possible, because that's the way I deal with all the subjects since I've been teaching. And talking about this particular course which you'll be learning is Indian Ethos and Business Ethics. Many people think that this is very much a spiritual course or something which will tell you many things about Ramayana, Mahabharata. Those parts are there as a part of your syllabus. But then we have to understand all these philosophies, all these literatures, all these scriptures from the viewpoint of management thoughts which we have received from all these religions. Even it is mentioning about Quran, then it is mentioning about Bible, it is mentioning about Granth Sahib, and different kind of reasons like Taoism is there, Jainism is there, Buddhism is there. So all the different say cultures or different religions are being taken care as to what are those religions are talking about and how we can connect those things with the management philosophy or management fraternity or even whatever is happening in the corporate world. Before that, what is the class strength? 60? 60. How many students are there in the class? 45. Total I am asking, not to who are 25. 25 is the class strength.
On paper, it's 16 and 16.
Okay.
Actually,
But then these are the people who are regularly attending.
Yes.
Okay. So let me tell you the schedule. I will be talking to you today and tomorrow as well. So on both the days I will be talking to you for 6 long hours with of course sufficient breaks or bio breaks everything. And tomorrow same time for same number of hours. I will be coming once again in the month of October and once again in the month of November. Those dates are also fixed, but then probably Winchester will communicate those dates too. Okay, so coming back to my sessions, so 6 hours today, 6 hours tomorrow. Like that it will be repeated 3 times. So I will be getting 36 hours to cover this 45 hours of syllabus which is there for this particular course. As I said, I try to make the things as interesting, as easy to understand possible by giving you many day-to-day examples. How many of you have working experience before joining this PGDM? Okay, so there are say about 4, 5, 6 people who have got a working experience. So at least they have gone and might have seen what happens in the corporate. So when I will be giving you the examples, I will give the examples mix of what is happening in our routine as well as what happens in the corporate, so that corporate people can relate with it. The routine examples could be related by anybody and everybody sitting in front of me, and then probably you will get a viewpoint as to what are the things going to be when you go into the corporate. And when I will be giving you corporate example, the people who have already working somewhere, they will try to connect it with the experiences or with the kind of example which I will be giving. So as I said, less theory and more of examples, more of cases I will be dealing with, so that you understand the fundamental. That has been my way of teaching, that I will be giving you a lot of examples. So many examples are available with me. Probably the time will be insufficient to share all. But then to make the concept understood, I will be giving you more examples to go through. Okay, now this is what the syllabus talks about. If anyone has got the chance to go through the syllabus about this course. Course, when I say it is a subject, so course is a new nomenclature for the subjects. Earlier we used to call it a subject, but then a new philosophy of teaching which is called as OBE, that is outcome based education. According to that philosophy, subject is called as course. So what you people are doing is PGDM is not a course, that's a program, right? And this particular subject is a course. So try to make the distinction between the two, because the purpose of teaching every subject is whatever you have learned on that particular day, there has to be some outcome. And that is the philosophy based on which the entire syllabus has been designed. And it is talking about these kind of cognitive abilities. I am not sure whether you have dealt with this part or not, but somewhere in some subject or maybe as an introduction to the entire syllabus, it must have been told to you that there is something called as a Bloom's taxonomy. Has anyone heard this word? Bloom's taxonomy? No? Okay, doesn't matter. So Bloom's taxonomy tells you that what are the different ways to make our learning more effective. And it says that the initial level, there are 6 levels in Bloom's taxonomy. The very fundamental level we try to remember. Remember your days of schools, maybe till your 10th standard or 12th standard, what we used to do, whatever syllabus was taught by the teachers, faculty members, that we used to mug up. Revise again and again, reiterate again and again, and then the one who has got the best memory, he used to top the lessons. Right? 10th standard, 12th standard results, he just remember. So till the 12th standard, that was a system, or that is still a system, at least in Indian education, that we are more dependent on remembering, power of memory. So that is where the first level of Bloom's taxonomy speaks about. The second level it speaks about understanding. Then maybe you will try to understand the concepts, you will try to understand the different chemical reactions, you will try to understand the functioning of different machines, so that you will go to the understanding level, slightly one level above remembering. Then you go to applying. You might recollect your school days where you might have had some science exhibition, or some kind of exhibition where you will have some models made and people will visit and you will explain those models, where you are trying to apply whatever you have received, remembered, understood, apply into the real life examples or maybe day-to-day models which you will be preparing as an experiment. So that is the applying level. Then comes evaluation, and then comes last level is creating. So when you create something, for creating something you cannot keep anything aside, you cannot skip anything, you have to be very much thorough if you want to create something. So creating is supposed to be the last level, which may not be applicable to this particular course, but then evaluation, then all the other levels below are applicable to this course. So it is talking about, see, this 105 is the number of the subject which is given to this particular course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is creating. So you could see the level what I was talking about, remembering, first understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating and creating. So your ability to understand, ability to grasp certain thing goes in the same sequence. Initially we try to understand, we try to remember definitions. So anywhere, whenever you might have started any chapter in schools, the first part comes with definition of that particular concept. Then comes understanding, then you apply those as I have told you. Then you analyze whether whatever you are doing is correct or not. Then you evaluate. Evaluation is one step ahead of evaluating. What your teachers do is evaluation. It's not an analysis. So what you yourself do, how far I have studied and how far at what level I have reached, that is your own personal analysis. What your teacher will be doing is evaluation. Right? So you make some model, some technical model or maybe some science model that happens here in applying. You try to analyze that model on your own, whether this will function properly or not, whether this will go ahead or not, whether this will work or not. That just reminds me one joke which has probably you might have also received on WhatsApp, because WhatsApp circulation is very common nowadays. You will receive some joke on one group, you are a member of other group, you will receive in another 5 minutes now. In earlier days it used to take 1 day or 7 days to reach the message, but now it is circulated so fast. So there was this incident which I am sure that you might have received on your WhatsApp. There is one engineering college and all the engineers, they design an aeroplane, and then they invite, as the first of their experiment, they invite all their faculty members, their teachers to sit in the aeroplane, and then they tell to the teachers, their respective teachers, whatever we have designed the aeroplane, that is all because of you. So you have taught us, and then we were able to apply, and we have made an aeroplane. So all are sitting in an aeroplane, and the chief engineer of that design of the aeroplane starts the engine of aeroplane. It doesn't start. So you keep on starting. It is just like you imagine a car is being started and you are giving an ignition and the car is not starting. The same thing happens there. The plane is not starting, and then he's trying again. But then at the lot of trial after, the engine doesn't start. So all the teachers come down and they say, what all students are there? Anyways, we would have been in danger if this plane would have been flying in the air. Because you don't know at what time it might get out of control and probably out of order. And then any time the aeroplane can fall down, so all are safe. So all teachers happily get down. One teacher is still sitting inside. So other teachers, are you mad or what? Are you so much believing these people? He said, yes, I am believing my students and I am sure that the plane will never start. So what he has done the evaluation of all students who were there and who have designed that thing. So that is what the teachers do. Analysis on your own. Before inviting these teachers, the students must have did the analysis on their own. They might have done trials and errors to see whether the plane is really taking off or not. It might have taken off at that time. But then it must have been very much successful as per the analysis stage at their level. But when it comes to evaluation by the higher authority, they will always find out the loopholes and the negative points in your system, and they will point out. So all your teachers, all your superiors in the industries, all the top-notch people, they will always try to teach you or tell you what are the things which are being going in a negative direction, on which you should improvise. And then last comes creating. Probably the example which I had given, the creating has happened first, but then the creating would be much better if the air would have taken a proper flight and got down very properly. So creating is the last stage which requires a lot of understanding, a lot of conceptual clarification, then a lot of understanding and application-based learning, then it is possible. So when you are creating, now those again, corporate people will understand, there is something called as a prototype. So when you are creating any particular model or some instrument or maybe car or two-wheeler, it is always a prototype which is created first. So sample model, and then it is tested whether it will properly work or not. And then if it is successful, analysis evaluation is successful, then they will create and launch to the entire market that this is the car which is available in the market. So that's how, if we think about learning also, the learning goes in the same sequence, that you remember first, then you understand, then you apply, then you analyze on your own, then you evaluate, and then you finally, when you are very much sure that whatever I have understood is absolutely clear to me, then I can go to the create level. As far as my course is concerned, Indian ethos and business ethics, you might design certain business ethics later into the future. But Indian ethos is all what has come from Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita. I don't expect any one of you to write any such book. Can you? Or can you write Bible? Can you write Quran? At this stage, probably no. If you decide to go in that field, well, there are cases which I will discuss later. It is possible by some of the students like you also can go to that level. So creating may not be applicable to this subject in general. This is the syllabus which I will be covering. If you could look at the number of hours, so that comes to around 15 plus 15, 30 plus 8, 30 hours. So I will be compressing it slightly to 36 hours, 2 hours every session. And of course, the remaining 9 to 10 hours are for your evaluation and assignments. That I will give it to you online, you can submit it online so that we can save that time here. And I will give you the comments also online. Okay, these are the suggested books, etc. This is the model 1 which will be starting today, and hopefully we will finish it today. Because there are 5 modules and 6 days. So it might happen that some modules might get extended to the next day. So at the end of 6 days, we should have been finished with all the modules along with assignments, declaration, and all those details. Starting with the first point. Now the concept of ethos. Now ethos is the word which has been defined. Again, whenever it comes to any concept, we always have the definition of the concept first. So like that, ethos is a Greek word. Most of the olden English has come from Greek. So it's a Greek word which is talking about, the meaning of this word is moral character. Ethos means custom or character also. There's another meaning, or what we call as a synonym is custom or character. So custom or character of group of the people, or maybe of the society, probably the housing society where you are staying, they do have some kind of rules and regulations to be followed, certain customs to be followed, and they do have certain characters. Now I do not know much about Mumbai, but then as far as I know about Mumbai, Dadar is one of the oldest area in Mumbai. So if somebody is having a bungalow in Dadar area, he is probably the richest person in Mumbai, right? Why this has happened? Because the things have got developed in such a way that certain particular areas, certain locations, certain neighborhoods also have got certain meaning. Now if you are talking about the new area which is developed on Bombay-Pune highway, that's Kharghar or maybe Navi Mumbai, Vashi, so that is currently recently developed area. But if you want to purchase a flat there, I think you will have to invest somewhere around 2 crore rupees for 2 BHK flat. So if you still have the flat there, people will look at you with raised eyebrows. So purchase a flat in Navi Mumbai must be very rich. So point is that every location physically, the society where you are staying, the locality where you are staying, the school or college where you have taken your education, that also has got certain impression in the society. Why? Because every school, college, every society, every group of people, even your friend circle also has got certain ways to behave with each other or be in the society. So those customs which are related to certain groups could be called as ethos. Ethos is set of beliefs, ideas about social behavior and relationship. It's very clear that you are talking about beliefs, ideas of that group. Again, I have given you a lot of examples of group. Your friend circle itself can be a group. See, there is a saying in English, show me your friends and I will tell you what you are. Show me your friends and I will tell you what you are. Means what kind of person you are, I will tell you by the friend circle which you belong to. So therefore, our parents might have been teaching you since your childhood days कि हमेशा अच्छे संगति में रहो. Means always be with good people, always be with nice friends, make friendship with nice people. Now what is defined by nice? How do you define the word nice? It is something to do with ethos. So the kind of beliefs, behavior specifically, and relationship with each other of a person of the group, that is talking about ethos. Ethos is used to refer practice or values that distinguish. There will be a clear distinguishing between a friend circle X and friend circle Y. Friend circle X is very studious. You will always find them studying all the time, 24 hours by 7. Whereas the other circle is always enjoying, going for movie, going for partying, boozing. That is one group, right? So we are talking about distinguishing, clear-cut distinction. When we talk about organization, we have got, just to give you a very raw example, nationalized banks and private banks, right? We do have certain impressions about these banks. Don't you agree with this? When you go to Bank of Maharashtra, State Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, UTI Bank, UTI is private of course, then Union Bank of India, Corporate Bank, these are all nationalized banks. And on the other side, if you go to HDFC, Axis now, UTI, then maybe IDBI Bank, semi-government, then maybe SMBC Bank, these are all privatized banks. You will have a very clearly distinguished experience with these two banks. Just to give you an example of one nationalized bank where I happened to go there, I went there to one lady. I wanted to get some details about my account. She, first of all, 5-10 minutes she didn't look at me. See, I was just standing like this. She was doing something on WhatsApp even while doing the duty. So I could see that she was playing some game. It was very unfortunate that during the office hours she was playing some games. So after say waiting and getting irritated for 4 minutes, then I said, excuse me ma'am. Then she said, Kaya. How many of you understand Marathi by the way? Don't understand? Don't understand Marathi? Okay. So for these 3-4 people, I won't be speaking Marathi at all. So she had very clear expressions on her face. See, why are you troubling me? I am in a game. So why are you disturbing me? I told ma'am I want to get some details that I had applied for some checkbook and I got a call from the branch that the checkbook is received and then you can collect it anytime. So I am here to collect the checkbook. She said, what a trouble. She okay, tell me your account number. So I told her I have saved my account number on my mobile. So I opened my mobile and I asked, dictated her some 10-12 digits of account number. She said, the account number is wrong. I said, ma'am, can you please retype? I told the same number. Yes, it is correct. See, then I said, ma'am, you typed it wrong. How can I tell my own account number at least when seeing the digits? I am that much literate so that I can read 1 to 10 numbers. Then that is the way the people behave. Another nationalized bank when I had got, since this is recorded, I don't want to defame any nationalized bank. But then that is a practical experience. I gave my passbook for making entry. Again the same thing, 2-3 minutes she didn't pay hit to me. Then after that, after putting that passbook into the printer, she literally threw that passbook on my face. I got so irritated because our institution has got our current account in that bank. I directly went to the manager and I told, is this the way you should deal with the customers? Then the manager called her and fired, do you know who is? I told him, I am not here to tell her who am I, but then I am just telling her that how you should deal with the customers. Again, what I am trying to tell you with the example is you definitely distinguish organizations also. Or society also, the society where you are staying, housing society, I am giving a simple example. Then there are other societies or other associations like the Rotary Club, Lions Club. Then there are many organizations which are said to be NGOs. So all those NGOs, all those corporates, all companies, all banks, every entity which may be a proprietary firm, maybe a partnership firm, maybe what you call as a private limited firm or a public limited firm. stock limited company, NGO, any organization you talk about, they do distinguish themselves from some another organization, even their competitor organizations too. So Ethos will be telling you how X organization behaves and how Y organization behaves. So according to Oxford, again, we skip the theoretical part because it's talking say moral ideas and ethics. This is the. Now, when it comes to ethos and ethics, what is the difference? Now, we have the differential points. One is origin. From where it is originated. Ethics are originated from Shastra. We always hear your parents, your grandparents talking. Shastron mein waisa likha hai. So, what is the Shastra? Shastras are Vedas, Upanishads, and all the scriptures which I mentioned. So, those Shastras are talking about moral principles or values. You should always speak the truth. You should always respect the elders. You should always take everybody into consideration. So all those things which we can call it as a do's and don'ts, something good and bad, those are all defined by something called as ethics. And when those gets transferred to ethos, there is a culture distinguishing characters, sentiments, and guiding beliefs. As I have given you an example of a culture of one particular organization. Likewise, whenever any culture is being defined by any organization, right at the start of that organization, that matters. Because that is a philosophy on which the entire culture in the organization is built, and it is always been found that the top managers or maybe the top officials or maybe the owner or the founder of that organization, he will decide the culture of the organization. So again, the minor difference between these two, this is already some standards which I am not sure that everybody will be following it or not. Say for example, you are not supposed to bribe anyone. This is told to you by ethics. We will see since now Shastras are telling you should not be doing any under-table activities. Under-table activity in reality had what that kind of meaning in earlier days. If I meet some officer in some organization, typically government organizations, and something is to be done only by that officer and he is not doing it, he is honestly making the things delayed. So what I do, I give him money under the table so that nobody sees it. But nowadays everywhere CCTV cameras are there. So this is not happening nowadays. So nowadays bribes are also taken online. So it doesn't matter. Okay. But then that is again one of the ways the things are being developed as a culture of that organization. Now the moment I have given you example of nationalized bank and private bank, we do have certain impressions in our mind. Immediately we think negative about nationalized and think positive about private. Now fortunately, maybe your generation is very much fortunate that you have never seen the world without internet. Right? When you were born in your house, internet must have been there, Wi-Fi must have been there, mobiles, you have never seen the world without mobiles. So fortunately, since most of the things are going on online, the possibility of bribery has come down to a great extent. Still India stands to be somewhere 32nd number as far as the corruption is concerned in the entire world, out of 200%. We are still very good, and since most of the things are becoming online, the things are becoming more and more easy and less corrupt. For example, how many of you have 4-wheeler driving license? Okay. Rest all know how do you go for getting a driving license from this RTO? What do you do? Suppose you want to get a 4-wheeler license. Those who don't have and those who have, they tell you how they have got it. You joined the driving class? Anyone without driving class, you have got the license? Without driving class? Okay. Without driving class? Okay. How did you do that? Okay. Okay. Yes, what about you saying? So it's the same way. What I am trying to tell you is, if you join a driving class or if you catch hold of some agent or a dealer to give you a driving license, it is against rules and regulations. All these agents and driving license have converted to agents is not allowed legally. If you go online nowadays, how much amount of money you have paid for driving license or even through agent? 7,000. Okay. Any other figure? In Pune it is very cheap. It's 2,500. Yes. 4,500. 700. 700. Okay. Any figure somewhere between 2,500 to 7,000. You must have paid. Do you know how much amount of money is required to actually get a driving license from government? 800. 1800. As far as my knowledge goes, for learning license it was 21 rupees, and for permanent license some 150 or 200 rupees. Check on RTO website. Whatever, but it is anyway taken together less than 1,000. But everyone has paid at least double or maybe triple or 4 times. Why? Because that has become a culture that was a culture for quite a long time in our country. But now things are become online. You can try to have such kind of utilities used, so that government is also going on using or developing a good culture, which is unlike other countries. So that should happen. So this is some moral principle. These are what you define. You means you being an organization or you being as an individual. Then universal outlook. You go anywhere, study any ism, think about Islamism, think about Christianism, think about Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, all isms are there. No ism will ask you to kill somebody. No ism will ask you to be violent. No ism will ask you not to live in peace. No, every ism will ask you to be loving to the people, being righteous, being always liked by the people, being always loved by the people, being always listening to, respecting others. So all the isms, you take the example of any religion, all the religions are talking the same because they are talking about the universal outlook. In the entire world, say maybe around 200 plus countries, every country is talking about the same. Whereas the culture specific region of country, we always think about Western culture, Eastern culture. Why that difference is there? Because there is a difference in the culture. And who has defined it? Those particular countries have defined it. There was a time when the countries like Japan, Germany, Spain, then maybe Italy, there were some countries who never accepted English as an international language. They said, if you want to come to Japan, you have to learn Japanese, and then only you will be allowed to get a PR. That condition might be still there, but most of the countries in most of the people in Japan, China even for that matter, they never used to talk English. They have never accepted, because that is, they have decided to develop that culture. If you want to come to China, you learn Chinese, Mandarin, what is the language what is it? Mandarin, yeah. If you want to go to Japan, if you want to go to German, learn German language. If you want to go to Spain, learn Spanish. By the way, Spanish is the maximum talked language in the world, after the English of course. But what I am trying to tell you is that most of the countries are very much stringent not to accept English as their language. Why? Because they want to develop that particular culture. Now let us talk the example of Maharashtra, where all the top politicians are talking. If you are in Maharashtra, you have to speak in Marathi. All the government offices, including university, then government mantralaya, then all the government offices, wherever, PWD, whichever department you are dealing with, most of the circulars, most of the notices are in Marathi. Why? Because we want to develop our culture so that Marathi is one which is otherwise getting extincted, which is not being, even in Mumbai, if you see, most of the people are talking Hindi. They are not using Marathi very now and then. Why it is happening? So the movement of talking Marathi is more in Mumbai. That is why, that is how we want to design some kind of a culture which is decided by, of course, the leaders. So that is on the other side. There is universal outlook, is the ethics. Ethics will be telling you about right or wrong, good or bad, conduct or misconduct, pap or punya. Not all the religions believe on it. But in general, people will tell you that don't do bad things. It will have negative effects on your probably this birth, or those religions who believe on next birth. They will say that you will have to carry all your sins to the next birth. So some such kind of frightening ideas they do have for the people to behave good. So the intention behind all such kind of thing, Papa Punya, Swarga Narak. There was one incident which I happened to see. There was one small child of some 5-6 years, small girl of 5-6 years, and her mother was holding her hand while crossing the road, and this I have seen. I was just standing next to that mother and a child. So the child was running to cross the road, and the mother was pulling her behind because it was a very heavy traffic road. And at one point of time, the mother got so irritated, she told to her small child, "अरे ऐसा behave करोगे तो ससुराल में आपको जला देंगे." Would this can happen? For such kind of thing, a small kid of 6-7 years, how will she understand that? Here we are talking about some such kind of concept concepts ऐसा करोगे तो स्वर्ग में जाओगे, अच्छा करोगे तो, बुरा करोगे तो नरक में जाओगे. Not all the religions believe in it, but there are certain things which will make you understand the difference between good and bad. So what she was trying to teach to her child that ऐसा मत करो, अच्छा नहीं है, बाद में you will have to face this. But then ऐसा जरूरी नहीं कि ऐसा कोई रोड क्रॉस करता है उसको जला देते हैं immediately. But then that concept, unfortunately, those incidences have happened many in India as compared to all other countries. So that has been probably the custom in India. So we have to think about these concepts which will be given overall by all the ethics scriptures. Whereas on this side we decide, culture groups they will decide, person he himself, I will decide how should I behave in this society. Do you agree with this? How should I behave? I means you individually should behave in the society. How should I behave in the class? That I will decide. Right? There are rules and regulations. If you don't behave in a particular way, you will be reprimanded or you will be punished. But I have to follow the rules which are made by your institute. I have to follow the rules which are made for PGDM class. I have to follow the rules which are made by the Deccan Education Society which is in Pune. Right? So there are certain standard norms which these particular societies, institutions, person or a group of people they have decided that will be called as ethos. So ethos are all such kind of standard things but which are customizable. You understand the meaning of customizable. Corporate people will understand. Customizing means changing according to your needs. Like you set an alarm on your handset. Do you all set the alarm at 6 o'clock in the morning? Everyone might have different things. So that's what we call the customization in simple ways. Whatever I want, I will make the changes in my system. That is what is called as customization. So a lot of customization is possible in ethos, which is done by this person, society, and institution. Now, what are the examples? Truth, non-violence, devotion, kindness, values. These all isms and all the religions are talking about. All Ramayana, Mahabharata, all those are talking about only these things: non-violence, devotion, kindness. Whereas here we talk about ethnic where. If you know that most of the countries, most of the companies, they do have certain uniforms. Do you know that? Most of the companies, not necessarily all the companies. Now, most of the institutions, which I am not seeing it here, make it compulsory to wear an eye card when they are in the campus. Right? Is it not mandatory for you?
So it's fine. We have not got the ID.
Okay, fine. So excuse me. But then that might be a rule when you get an eye card that whenever you enter, the watchman will not allow you if you don't have an eye card. What is it? This is nothing but some rules regulations which I have formulated, this group has formulated. Whereas in some school and college you go, nothing is required. You rather they will take you take the admission today and directly come for the exam. That is again ethos developed by that college, that institution. Ethnic where, welcome, how do you welcome the people? Typically in India we welcome the people by saying namaste or welcome. That's an Indian culture. Most of the Western countries they will shake hand with you. In our country, shaking hand with a girl or a woman is considered indecent. This is decided by our culture, that is decided by their culture. In most of the Western countries, you will see that you can call your boss. Boss is a very wrong word to use in management. Though corporate people use it, you will also be using when you join corporate. You will call your boss, your senior as the boss. But then boss, typically in management terminology, it's a slang. It's not a good word to use. Whereas instead you will have to call him as a superior or senior. Superior or senior. Boss word is used colloquially, but it is supposed to be indecent in manner. So you will usually call it by in India sir or madam, whosoever you see. Whereas if you go to any Western country, he may be the CEO of a company, you will be calling him John. Hi John, how are you? If you call any of your professors like that, hi Dikshit, how are you? Some kind of fear is going to be there because that is not our culture. So how do you welcome the people? How do you treat the people? How do you treat your elders? How do you treat your classmates? How do you treat your siblings? That will decide how is the culture or ethos of the society or the group or a particular entity where you belong. So ethos are some standards set. The standards are of course of behavior, of course of values, of course of culture, but every group will be having different cultures. So that is the difference between the two. Features of Hindi, it is slightly difficult to read there. So I'll skip this because indirectly that will be coming later. I'll skip this one. Now certain ideologies. Now all these ideologies initially have come from Vedas, Puranas, which are supposed to be much available some 6,000 years before Christ even. So certain inserts are there, certain summarized statements are there which have come up from that. The first is Atmano Mokshartham Jagat Hitaya. Means whenever you are doing anything, all work as opportunity for doing good to the world and thus getting materially and spiritually in our lives. But before you think about Hitaya means welfare of the world, Jagat means world, you have to think about your own, Atmano means your own. So you have to think about your own benefit and then you can think about others. How many of you are traveled by aeroplanes? Most of you might have done. So there are certain safety instructions given right at the start by that all the aeroplane, what do you call it? Pursers or aerostesses. So there will be 3-4 aerostesses standing in the central place and she will be giving some kind of instruction. One of the instructions is when in case of danger you pull the less oxygen, you pull the oxygen mask on the top of it, secure yourself first and then you take care about the person next to you. Why? Because if you have oxygen then only you will be able to save somebody else. If you yourself don't have, how you can save somebody else? So this principle is related to that. If you are thinking about your own benefit, you have to think about the other's benefit also. So to help others, you should be alive. That is the concept. So there is nothing wrong in thinking about yourself, your own progress, your own dreams in your life, reaching to those dreams, reaching to those goals, there is nothing wrong. But then during the journey of reaching to your goals, you should always be taking care about others who want to come with you, who want to develop with you, you should be always helping them. So this particular thing suggests you that there is no wrong in developing yourself, but you have to think about the hit of Jagat, means the welfare of the world, not world, maybe the people who are around us. Clear this particular principle? So I am not sure how are you going to remember all those things. That is up to you. But then I will be giving you many examples to understand. So if you understand the concept, then I don't think there is a problem or difficulty in remembering. And since in my teaching career of 25 years, I have been always giving importance to making the concept clear here. Once the concept is clear, you will not require to even read anything. So try to make the concept clear. If you can understand the concept here, then you will always remember this also. Atmano Moksha. Moksha is going into Swarga only, you are not taking rebirth. Fine, that concept is not there in other religions. But when you are thinking about your own development, you have to think about the welfare of everybody around you. That's the meaning. If you can remember this, even if you don't write this in the exam, that doesn't matter, because examination doesn't expect you to remember all these Sanskrit verses. Most of them are in Sanskrit. Second is Archit Dana Manabhyam, means worship people not only with material things but also showing respect to their enterprises beginning within. So we always worship, like Desha sir has given a lot of introduction about me, because I had sent him my profile long back. I had come here once, somewhere around 6 months before, for my session on management in Bhagavad. So that time I had sent him my profile, and then he is doing the same today. So then a lot of things have got added. What I am trying to tell is that he was telling you all my information so that you should develop a respect right at this time. Oh, what a profile, isn't it? You must be thinking, "Arey, kitna kiya hai?" So then jack of all, master of none, aisa kuch hai kya? Point is, he tried to develop some respect before I start making you to slog on with me for 36 hours. So that respect is developed. But then you should not worship the people only, here it says material things, only by material things, but you respect the people. The meaning of this particular part is, usually we worship the people, not worship in the sense, we think the person is great when he is having more wealth with him. Very rich people, we raise the eyebrows, okay, what a great, must be some general manager in some company, drawing crores of rupees as a CTC. We always have respect to the people in this materialistic world based on what kind of things which he possesses. Money, then again, as I mentioned earlier, which area he is staying in, or which area he has got his own house, which car he drives. which company he is working for. If you ask somebody, where are you working? I am working with Google. Oh, Google. And where are you working? I am working with one IT firm. It's a very small firm with only 15 years. Okay, fine. So where we are trying to connect, we are trying to connect with Google with say crores of millions of rupees as turnover, and some another IT company with 5 crore rupees of turnover. So we always compare, at least in management, the success of anything or any business by the turnover of the company. And turnover is nothing but the money, and money is nothing but the material wealth. How much you possess, how much amount of property do you have? कितने बंगलोज है, कितने कार्स आपके घर में हैं, फिर कितना प्रॉपर्टी आपका है, कहाँ पे जमीन लेके रखा है, फिर ये समुद्र के ऊपर आपने और एक बंगलो बना दिया. So we define or we try to respect the people only based on the materialistic thing. Even the clothes which you are wearing, that we have got different ideas about the clothes. The moment we see some kind of a logo on the shirt, I don't know which is this logo, but then there is some logo on the shirt which is talking about color plus. Oh, color plus का shirt, तो कोई भी shirt उसका 4,000 से नीचे आता नहीं. 4,000 में पूरा हमारा बाकी 4-5 ड्रेसेस आ जाते हैं. But then we think about the person using color plus shirt, 3,500 rupees cost, must be very rich. We think about, there is a saying in Hindi which says that आदमी के जूतों से आदमी की हैसियत पता चलती है. So आदमी के जूतों से आदमी की हैसियत पता चलती है. So hush puppies shoes, then maybe what other brands? Metro shoes. इसमें आपके ब्रांड में कौन सा है? गर्ल्स में? नहीं ब्रांड मालूम हो? हाँ? गर्ल्स ब्रांड. Clara something, Maria Clara. So all those brands are talking about which kind of shoes which you wear. So the moment you look at the design of the shoes, probably you will make out which brand it is. And then if you can afford to have that brand, then you must be very rich, or your parents must be very rich, somewhat like that. So we try to analyze or judge the person by the materialistic thing. Now materialistic thing is a spiritual concept. What kind of possessing you have, that is called as materialistic. Just now what I said, money, then houses, cars, and some different accessories. The person wearing a Rado watch, Rado watch. The least cost of Rado watch is 1.5 lakh rupees. Watch. Does Rado watch and 100 rupees or a watch show different time? It's the same time. But then we try to analyze that person based on which watch he is wearing, which eye gears he is wearing, ID or maybe Ray-Ban. That will tell you about that person. Must be very rich. And everything we connect to the riches. Why you are doing PGDM course? Why did you stop after graduation? Same thing. Because you want to get good salary, more package, more CTC, good company. How this can happen? Why this can happen? Because people are judging you also by the materialistic. And they will respect you only because you have got all materialistic properties collected more as compared to somebody else. They will respect you more. But we have to give the respect to the divinity within. There is one more concept coming up in relationship with this. So we have to give importance to the individual human being, not based on individualistic thing, not based on materialistic thing, but what he possesses other than the property. That is the meaning of this particular word. Next is Atmana Vidyate Vidyam. His strength and inspiration for excelling in work comes from the divine, God within, through prayer, spiritual beings, and unselfish work. This is again in relationship to the discussion which is going on. It is nowadays next to impossible that you are not expecting anything and you are doing the work. Unselfish work. For every work which we do, there is some selfish purpose behind it. Don't you agree with this? Why do you want to get more salary? Because you will get more salary only when you will do the work for the company. It is indirectly an unselfish work. But directly it is selfish work, though you are doing your work dedicatedly, you know that after I do this work I am going to get more salary. The more I work, the more I develop myself, the more courses I do, I will be going to the higher level position. There also I will not be doing unselfish work, but I will be doing the work for my own benefit. Why do you want to go from M6 level to M7? These are the levels in management, M1, M2, M3, M7, M8 is probably the highest one. So why do you want to go from M6 to M7? Because there is straight away 30% rise in your salary. And of course the responsibilities. So do you think that the responsibilities which you are doing are unselfish? Definitely no. You will be doing it for your own personal gain, which is connected to the organizational gain. When you are promoted from lower level to the higher level of management, you will be definitely given more responsibility. Let me make it clear to all the students sitting in front of me that whenever you are paid any particular X salary, the companies will always expect 10x of return from you, directly or indirectly. So you may be getting a very high package of say 72 lakh rupees a month, 72 lakh rupees let's say per year. But then they will be expecting 10 times of it return, 720 lakhs return from you. It may not be able, you may not be calculate that return in monetary terms directly. Nobody can prove from me the company is making 720 lakh rupees of return. But then indirectly there are analytical software available which will be able to calculate that what is the return against the salary which you are paying. So indirectly, even if you are getting 30,000 rupees of a job, company will be expecting 3 lakh rupees of a return from you. Minimum, is a minimum criteria, though not written criteria, but then in general, every company will expect 10 times of return from you. Directly, indirectly, your contribution to those software may not be having any connection with the product which the company is selling, but indirectly you are contributing 700 lakhs or 3 lakh rupees, which is 10 times of the salary which is given. So that is not an unselfish goal. You want that money, you want that hype, you want that promotion, you want to go to the next high level, more perks, more benefits, more CTV, more post-retirement benefits. Why do you want to do that? It is your selfish goal. It is next to impossible in today's world to have unselfish goal. Indirectly, this particular verse suggests you that if you keep on doing your work with unselfish attitude, day will come where you will get paid for it. Now, since we are on Indian Ethos and Dikshit sir has told you about that I have written a book on management in Bhagavad Gita. Now, the moment we see or we hear Bhagavad Gita, what is that one thing which remembers you of Bhagavad Gita? One verse which is famous worldwide. It's nothing but the same. Only one verse which is known all over as Bhagavad Gita. Or when you say Bhagavad Gita or type Bhagavad Gita in Google, it will give you one verse, which is the famous verse in the world. Yes, it starts with word ka translation in Hindi or Marathi or Sanskrit. Somebody said it, so correct. Huh? Correct. Karmanye, I have no ऐसा कुछ. Karmanye वाधिकारस्ते, मा फलेषु कदाचन. So that simply means that you keep on doing your work, don't expect returns of it. Does that mean that your 1 month is over? You are working with some company, your 1 month is over and then it is a salary day, you go to the manager and you tell me, no, I don't want salary. Because Bhagavad Gita में लिखा है ना, कर्म में काम करते जाओ, फल की इच्छा मत करो. मतलब काम करो महीना भर पूरा for entire month and then you say, I don't want salary. Does it happen like that? No, it doesn't. The meaning is also not like that. It says that you keep on doing your work dedicatedly, the salary will automatically come to you. You will be getting promoted to the next level provided you have got eligibility to reach there. Otherwise, your salary will remain same. When you will reach to the next level? When you do unselfish work. When you try to do the work dedicatedly, the organizations have got many different methods, including your appraisal, which happens in 6 months or 1 year. Then they will decide कि इसको promote करना ही नहीं करना. So indirectly, you keep on doing your work with dedication, fruits will definitely come back to you. That is the meaning of this particular verse. Yoga karma supashva, you continue with the same, that whatever work you do with skills, dexterity, with excellence, with quality. You do the quality work and then there is a concept called as karma yoga. Then only that karma yoga will happen. Means you will get satisfaction for yourself. The people who have given you the work, they will also get satisfied. The company will also get benefited, you will also get benefited. When you do the work, Kautilya means with accuracy, with proper skill, with proper dexterity, means using your hands properly, with excellence and with quality. Entire world is talking about quality. And if you are not able to give the quality, then nobody is interested in you. So you might have been hired maybe through campus placements or anywhere, but then the duration where you are likely to stay with that organization, that will be decided only based on your quality performance. Otherwise, it's going to be all in there. So whatever you do, you have to have a quality. So when I will tell you some assignments, I will be telling you some assignments. I want 100% perfection in the science. I don't like to have even the mistakes of commas and full stops. You should have given a thought why there should be a comma and why there should be a semicolon. Both have got different meanings, which has been taught to all of us in our school days. But then we have never even given importance to that because we never thought of quality in exchange. कैसे तो 10वीं हो गए 12वीं हो गए, used to be art science course, commerce किया. Now we are doing PGDM, which is a very selected course. Only 4% people in India go for post-graduation. So you are among those 4% who are doing the post-graduation. Why you want to excel? You want to develop more your skills. The kind of words, the kind of terminologies, in typical management terms we call it as jargons. The words which are related only to the management field. Those only you people will be knowing after 2 years. The people who were there in your class and during your graduation days, they don't know. So you come to know at least 1,000 different words which they do not know in the industries. So that will make you more skillful and that will remain you or divert you to the quality aspect. So this particular verse says that you have to be doing every work with quality with excellence. Yadishi bhavana yasya siddhi bhavati tadrishi is as we think, so we succeed, so we become. Attention means ensure the aim. Again, whatever written on the board may not be very easily to be understood. As we think, as we succeed, and so we become. So there is a kind of preaching given to all of us since our school days. All your teachers will be telling, your parents might be telling, you don't think negative. Always the negative will happen. Think positive. ये होना ही है, ये मुझे मिलने ही वाला है, ये नहीं मिलेगा, ये काम मुझसे नहीं होगा. It is proven by psychology as well as medical science as well as meditation science that whenever you see negative things, those auras, those words will keep on moving around you. If you believe, even if you don't believe, it doesn't matter. So those auras will keep on moving around you and those will affect, impact indirectly in the form of a boomerang. So if you say no, no will boomerang on you and you will never be able to do that work. So whenever you are thinking, how do you think, that will decide what kind of person you are likely to be. So always think positive, and there are examples which I will be giving at later stages whenever this point will come again, that definitely the thing will become as we expect. So always think positive, don't think negative as a thing. Bhavana means your emotions. Parasparam bhavena shreya pramo apsita. By mutual cooperation, respect and follow feeling, all of us enjoy the highest good both material and mind. Can somebody tell me that any organization, if it succeeds, for example, Ethos is one organization which has succeeded, which is an Indian MNC, who has started with Infosys? Who was the founder of Infosys? Yes, Narayan Murthy. So now, maybe when he started, for initial few days we can say, or we would have been able to make the statement that Narayan Murthy has made the company successful. Even today also we can make the success. We can see the same thing, that because of Narayan Murthy, Infosys is successful. But then can you give the whole credit, 100% credit to Mr. Narayan Murthy? Because I think some thousands of people are working with Infosys. If they wouldn't have been there, is it possible that Narayan Murthy would have been able to make the Infosys successful across the world? Probably. Point is that no organization will succeed because of one individual person, and on the other side, no organization will be failing because of only one person. It never happens. In management, we talk about always a teamwork. When our Indian cricket team wins against some another opponent team, it's not only one person who can make it win. It may happen at times. Maybe there is only one wicket required, and on the last ball that wicket is there. That may be a kind of say incidents, or maybe kind of what you can say, judgment at that particular moment. But then that doesn't mean that the earlier wickets were there, therefore that last wicket was important. So earlier wicket somebody must have taken. That is why it is called as a team and not a group. We do have, in some syllabus we will see the difference very clearly. Difference between a group and a team. When you go to the canteen, do you go in a team? You go in a group. Because everybody can join you. Team में वैसा होता है, can anybody join to Indian cricket team if you are a good cricketer? Will they take you? It is a team defined by the roles, by the ability, by the skills, by the expertise, and then you play your expertise in that team, and then you will be the team member. So likewise, in any industry, if we take the example of manufacturing industry, we produce something, they have got a manufacturing plant, we call it a production line. So there is a production department, there is a marketing department, there is finance department, there is MIS department, there is R&D department, there is sales department, HR department. All these departments have to function with equal effectiveness and this organization will succeed. I'll give you a small example which will make you understand this particular part clear. Clear in the sense that not because of one person or not because of one particular department the organization will succeed or fail. Supposing the company people have decided, some XYZ company, it has given a target to the entire company that we want to improvise our say turnover or maybe our profit by say 10% next year. By the end of next financial year or say this financial year 2023, we want to see the 10% rise as compared to our last year's figures. Clear this idea? 10% increase, maybe 10% increase in profit, let's say for the moment. So for increasing that profit, what is to be done? What is required to be done? That your product must be sold in the market or services must be sold in the market. Then only you will get more money, then only your profit will go up. Now these sales people or marketing people will always, in this case, supposing it is 31st of March 2023 and they have all the figures in front of them and they could see that instead of 10% they have increased by 11%. Situation clear? Now they have called the board of meeting where general managers of all the departments are sitting, and then general manager marketing and sales is saying that it's only because of us the company is succeeded. Because our people, we have got excellent marketing scheme design and our sales people were going and running into the market. So they fetched all the business. That's why our company has succeeded because of us. Immediately, the person who is from, let's say, production department, he comes in between. How can you say like this? It is because our product is a quality product, that's why you can sell it. If the product would have been inferior, would have been impossible to sell it, then the marketing person lowers his voice. Because production person has taken a grip now. He said, it is because we are giving you the quality, that's why you can sell the product. You can look at our competitors, they are not selling because the quality is not good. It is because production department, this company has got successful. Assuming this situation, understanding? Now the moment production person says like this, raw material and inventory person will come in. He will say, how can you say like that? If we wouldn't have been given a quality raw material, how we can have a finished good quality? So it is because of us. If we give inferior raw quality, we will have finished good also of faltu quality. So how we can guarantee that because of us? Because of us. We are giving you proper raw material, quality raw material with quality vendors we have defined. That's why there is a quality. So because of us, the company is successful. Agreed? To this statement, finance person comes then. He says, who are paying to these raw material vendors? It's finance people. If we don't pay them on time, we have got example that there were 3-4 vendors who said not to work with us because we didn't pay them on time. So there were other vendors who we paid them properly on time, therefore they committed to give us raw material. They are giving us credit as well. So if we wouldn't have paid to them, he wouldn't have given quality raw material. So it's because of finance people, the organization becomes successful. Last comes HR. If people wouldn't have been working, how would it have been successful? Marketing people, they don't work. Finance people, production people, they don't work. How the company will succeed? Because HR policies are good, so therefore the people are working, therefore they are giving good output. So because of HR, the company is successful. Now my question to you is, which department makes the organization successful in this case? All the departments put together. Considering the same thing, same example, same target, 10% increase is expected to be there in a profit, but then they had loss of 10%. Same meeting is there. What marketing manager will say now? He will say, no, our people are doing their best, but then there is no quality in our product. So production people are responsible. See the tables have turned down. Now he is putting a blame on production people. Production people will say, how can I give you the quality when raw material supply is not good quality? Raw material supply will say there are a lot of vendors who are complaining again, not giving them credits or not paying on time. So they are providing raw material which is of bad quality. So how can I maintain quality? Finance people will say, what can we do? We are not getting the money from, so marketing people are responsible, HR people are not working. So with the same example, when it comes to a failure, it is a general human tendency. We always try to give the failure to somebody else. The phrase has come in English which is called as passing the buck. So you pass the buck to somebody when you don't want to take the blame. Doesn't this happen in your house also? You have got your one or two brother or maybe sister and something wrong has happened. You will always try to उसने किया मैंने कुछ नहीं किया. So again, summarize of this example is you always believe on the teamwork, and it's only the teamwork which will be succeeding or which will be failing. So we cannot put a blame on one single individual person. That is probably the reason when people are working, they don't know what they do. What they will think, 10 लोग हैं ना, बाकी 9 लोग काम करेंगे, मैंने नहीं किया तो क्या फर्क पड़ा? But then that is where it comes to your individual value system, which will be seen in few later chapters. So you have to always depend on or believe on mutual cooperation, helping the team members, respecting team members. You should always have what? Fellow feelings. Somebody who's in your team is your own, just like a brother or sister or maybe a sibling. And you have the highest good of both parties. So if you have this team building, then you will definitely win the match and you will get crores of rupees and then you will get a satisfaction of the mind. Yes, and we won against Pakistan. Even if we don't win the last final match, even if we win only against Pakistan, we are all satisfied. That's future satisfaction. Tesham Sukham Tesham Shanti Shashwati means infinite happiness and infinite peace comes to them who see the divine in all the things. So I will be happy if I will be seeing the happiness around. I will be sad if I will be seeing the sadness around. So you could see on the stage there are many people begging, there are many people paralyzed, but then on those people, some examples of course, not all, there is a kind of happiness or a kind of contentment even in that situation on the faces of some people. So that they see the happiness around, you see the happiness around, you will be happy. You will be in such an environment where it's all rotten atmosphere around, you are likely to be like that. So it depends upon what kind of surrounding you are having around, so that you will get infinite happiness. That depends upon surrounding. Infinite happiness and infinite space, peace come to them who see the divine in all the things. So try to see the positive things. That's again one thing taught here. Try to see the positive things around and you will definitely become positive. Don't even speak about negative. Paraspara Devo Bhava. This is Sanskrit. This is translated in the language called as Prakrit. Now again, as I asked you, how many of you know Bhagavad Gita? All of you know Bhagavad Gita. How many of you know Jnaneshwari or Jnaneshwari in Hindi? No, I am not asking you whether you read it or not. सिर्फ पता है नहीं पता. Jnaneshwari सब लोगों को पता है. Who has written it? Sant Jnaneshwari, who is very much from Maharashtra, 120 kilometers, 160 kilometers from here, from Pune, right? Pune is a place. Alandi is a place where Sant Jnaneshwari last the cremation has been done there. Rather, he has taken the samadhi saint to be. So he is a saint from Maharashtra, and he is mentioned in the book called as Managerial. And Managerial is said to be the translation of Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit. Sorry, Bhagavad Gita was in Sanskrit. Managerial is in a language called as Prakrit, which is a combination of Sanskrit and Marathi. More of Marathi, less of Sanskrit. The reason is very simple. Bhagavad Gita was told to Arjuna way back 5000 years before, when people in the society were able to speak only Sanskrit. Now if I ask to see 1 lakh people in Maharashtra, how many of you know Sanskrit? There might be 1 or 2. How many of you understand Sanskrit? Maybe less than that. Because the Sanskrit is language has been almost demolished from Maharashtra, not being used. So even Maharashtra government is thinking about elevating Sanskrit as well. So there are some kind of WhatsApp messages coming to support Sanskrit and just click on this link. So those kind of things. Why? Because Sanskrit was one of the languages which is eternally used, and it is found practically that all the languages, at least in India, are being born out of Sanskrit. If you go to South India, any South Indian boy or girl here in the class? No? If you go to South India and listen to their language, you will see that 80% of the words are Sanskrit. In Tamil, in Malayalam, whichever South Indian language you take, 80% of the words are in Sanskrit. Because Sanskrit is said to be the mother of all the languages. Marathi, we will say again, not 80% the percentages come down, but most of the words in Marathi which we use are taken from Sanskrit as well. all of you type on your WhatsApp message, right? Most of the time you type in English, but if you want to type in Hindi, there is a script available. Do you know that? You can type it in Hindi, which is called as Devanagari script. So you can type it in Devanagari script. Who has developed this? Who has developed this typing into regional languages? Any idea? Okay, there is again a well-renowned scientist from Maharashtra, from Pune, Mr. Vijay Bhatkar. He has developed this analogy, this kind of a software. And he has made prediction, and it has been known to the world over that for programming languages, the most suitable language is Sanskrit. And it has been used world over. So Vijay Bhatkar used Sanskrit as a base and do some kind of coding to when you type CHALALO, it will type Chalalo, or AAP, it will type as AAP. So that analogy has been developed using Sanskrit as a basic language, which is very rich language. Coming back to the point, so people at that time were understanding Sanskrit, so the entire Bhagavad Gita was told to Arjuna by Krishna in Sanskrit. Because that was a common language as we have got Hindi or English today. But at the time of Dnyaneshwar, somewhere around 400 years before, 450 years before, language Sanskrit was almost diminishing and people had started a mix of Marathi into it. So he translated entire Bhagavad Gita, which is 700 verses, shlokas, to 9,000 verses, which is almost 10 times more than that, 10.5 times. The language which is used in Dnyaneshwari is Prakrit, which is more of combination of Marathi more and Sanskrit less, but Sanskrit was there. Because the people at that time were able to almost understand Sanskrit to some extent and Marathi to more extent. Again, why I am telling you all those things, the thing which is written in the bracket is in Prakrit. If you type it, how many of you know Google Translate? Have you used it, Google Translate? If you open your Gmail, there are 9 dots, you click on that, you will get an option, Google Translate. If you type it there on the left hand side, selecting Sanskrit, and on the right hand side, English. If you want to know the English meaning of this. So you can translate any word, any sentence in any language in the world, you will get to translate it to any language. You can even translate Japanese into English, Japanese into, say, some Turkish language. All possibilities are there. There are some 200 plus languages where you can translate from here to there. So if you type this here, JJ Vedije Bhuta Tete Manije Bhagwan. Type it on the left hand side, selecting Sanskrit or Marathi. On the right hand side, the Google will give a translation. Whosoever ghost you meet, consider that ghost as your God. Clear? Because Buddha is ghost. Buddha is a very common word. Even in Hindi we use the word Bhut. But in reality, the meaning of Bhut is a human being. But Google doesn't know that. Google knows Bhut means ghost. So Google will translate whichever ghost you come across. How many ghosts you have come across by now in your life? Have you come across any ghost? So Google says if you come across any ghost, you consider that ghost as the God. आपने कभी भूत देखा ही नहीं, तो उसको God कैसे समझोगे? God कभी देखा है? नहीं देखा है. But still we have got that feeling here somewhere near us that there is a God, there is some power which is controlling. But the real meaning of bhut according to Prakriti is human being. So whosoever human being you come across, treat that human being as your God. Means all of, say some 25, 30 gods are sitting in front of me and one God is teaching to other gods. It is that simple to understand. Right? That is the meaning of it. Which means that you consider every other person as a divine being, and there is a philosophy which says that there resides a God in every individual human. So inside us, inside every individual, there is a God which is residing, and we are respecting not an individual human being, we are respecting to that God which is within that individual human being. So all of you have got the God somewhere within, and I will be respecting you. Now you might be knowing or you might have heard about there is some place called as Pandharpur in Maharashtra, and many people from Pune, Mumbai, they go walking to Pandharpur, and that is called as a Wari, Pandharpurchi Wari. And there is a typical group of people which is called as Varkari Sampradaya. So the people who belong to those fraternity called as Varkari. And if you happen to see that maybe on television or maybe in reality, you will see that if you happen to meet one Varkari, there are around 10 lakh people who go there walking in 15 days. So if you see one Varkari meeting another Varkari, means one person meeting another person. If one man of, let's say, old man of 90 years of age he is there, and then a small child of 6 years comes to him and he touches his feet. 90-year-old, you all will also probably do because he is an old person, just like your grandfather or grandfather. So you will touch his feet. Grandfather of 90 years of age, he will also touch the feet of 9-year-old boy. Right? You might have seen this. That is the meaning here. So whosoever is the person you are coming across, that small child is not a child. There is a God inside him. So the 90-year-old man will touch the feet of 9-year-old child because there is a God in that child. Child doesn't know that 90-year-old Buddha is, but that is a philosophy. Irrespective of age, you are touching the feet of each other because you assume, according to some philosophy, that there is a God residing in every individual. That is the philosophy. So you have to give importance to every individual human being, considering the divinity in that individual human being. What you do with the divinity, whether you are really behaving in that way, that is something different discussion. Why that happens, why it shouldn't happen, what should be done, that we'll see in later chapters. But then philosophically, everybody is a God and everybody has that divine power inside to even change the world, provided you use it properly. Yeah. Please.
So then why we are classified into different castes?
No, that is something different. Here we are talking human beings. So human beings related to any particular caste.
Then there is also casteism.
No. Bhagavad Gita is not talking about casteism. That is what I said in the difference between ethics and ethos. Thus, respecting elders is everywhere. That is the standard. Yes, irrespective. I will be coming to that. I have come out with some points where Bible, Christianism, Taoism, all those are speaking the same. I'll show you some slide. But then no religion for that matters will tell that don't love people, keep on hating people. No will tell you. So, be violent, keep on killing. No. We don't want to go into that discussion. We'll come to it a bit later because that chapter is going to be today itself. So we'll prove that it has nothing to do with caste, nothing to do with religion. So that is the basic philosophy. Paropakara idam shariram, that means your body is for the purpose of giving life warmth to the human beings, to the individuals. That means your body is there. You have taken the birth on this earth not for yourself but for somebody else. There are some examples. The cow gives milk, flower smells, river also flows. So why this is happening with these flowers of cows? Because they are made for the benefit of others. You tell me, what is your benefit to the cow? Individual, your benefit to cow. What is your benefit to tree? What is your benefit to individual benefit? To the environment? Do you? Yeah? What is your benefit to the nature? So that is not a benefit. You are leaving out carbon dioxide. Trees don't. Trees leave carbon dioxide only at night, not in the daytime. Daytime you all will require oxygen that will be left or given out by the trees. My question is, what is your benefit to cow, to nature, to flowers, to river? Indirect, rather in the other side, on the other hand, river has got lot many benefits to individual human beings. River will be giving you the daily water every day to drink. If you go to the village areas, this rivers is everything for them. They take bath, they wash clothes, everything they do in the river, right? Think about trees. What trees give you? Trees will be giving you oxygen, as I said, right in the daytime. Trees will be giving you fruits and flowers. You don't give anything to them. So this philosophy says that you should be of some use to the people around. That may be a small help which you are doing to somebody else. We are not talking about how I can help to the nature. That we'll talk about later in the third topic of business ethics. But at present we are talking about individual human beings. As an individual human being, what do you give back to the society? Give back, not society, give back to the nature, give back to rivers, give back to cow or different animals. So that matters. So ideally your sharir means your body is for param means for helping others, for the welfare of others, for the benefit of others. Ideally, but we don't do it. We have to do it. Then yajna karma. Now there is a concept in old mythology. You might have seen in some of the mythological serials. There was a serial on Ramayana, there were serials on Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita, also there were serials. So in all the serials you might have seen that there is a king of that particular kingdom, and then one day he declares a big yajna is going to be yajna, or in Sanskrit we call it yajna. And all the people from the king's side, they will prepare a big squarish kind of a platform where they will put lot many things and they will burn it. They will lit a fire, and then in that fire they will put groceries, they will put pure ghee, they will give ahuti, that is sacrifice. That sacrifice, or the purpose of that particular yajna is let our entire kingdom, all the people in the kingdom be happy, be prospering, be always getting what they want. So that yajna is done for the benefit of others, not for the benefit of king. There might be one way that let our kingdom prosper. Means let, as this entire kingdom or maybe as the entire country should prosper, means they should get more money so that everybody will be getting all the facilities, everybody will be satisfied, everybody will be helping each other. So that prosperity they are expecting. So still, the purpose of this yajna karma means work or task. Of that work, of that yajna is to think good about others or to think positive about others. So what are the different types of yajna? Brahma is conveying experiential knowledge to the others. That is Brahma yajna. Means all the intelligent people, they will always think about increasing in the learning abilities of the people, increasing the knowledge of the people. And in olden days that used to happen. There never used to be schools and colleges like this that time. So the people or those small kids used to go to the house of the guru. The person's teacher is called as a guru at that time, and the small kids used to go to guru's ashram and guru's place where he used to stay. They used to stay in the house of guru and they used to listen and get the knowledge from guru and follow whatever guru used to tell them. Who was guru of Rama? Vasishtha. Who was guru of Krishna? Any idea? It doesn't matter. But then they had gone to the guru's place. Sandipan is the name of the guru. They had gone to the guru's place and stayed there. Forget about there are say a lot of troubles or a lot of quarrels whether Ramayana Mahabharata has really happened or not. So again, we don't want to go into those discussions. Let's take the example of today's world. How many of you know Pandit Bhimsen Joshi? How many of you know Lata Mangeshkar? Lata Mangeshkar, you know. Bhimsen Joshi, you don't know? Only one person knows Bhimsen Joshi. Lata Mangeshkar also has got a Bharat Ratna award. Bhimsen Joshi also has got a Bharat Ratna award. For he is a very famous Indian classical music singer. Right? Bhimsen Joshi. He has learned, and all the people who have learned classical, if any one of you are there, you must have been going to your guru's place who is teaching you classical music. I am talking typically about Indian culture and a classical music culture in India. So you have to go to your guru's place, he will be teaching you, you have to learn from him. Next time, that is, nowadays it's a 1 hour, 2 hour class, you go home and then next day you come for another 2 hours. That time, Pandit Bhimsen Joshi had gone to his guru, stayed with him. Savai Gandharva was his guru, he went to him and he stayed with him, and guru used to tell him any kind of work which he is supposed to follow. There was a lot of respect for the gurus and the teachers at that time. Even it should be there today, but slightly deteriorated. Maybe, I don't want to again discuss all those matters. But then, you have to go to the guru's place and listen to whatever he tells you. And Pandit Bhimsen Joshi has told, and it is written in his biographies, that he was told to stand in a barrel full of water. Barrel, you might have seen a round, big barrel which is made up of tin or steel, iron, and then you put a water into it. And in the winter days, may not be in Mumbai, but in other places in Maharashtra, in winter days that water will be somewhere around 2 degrees or 3 degrees centigrade temperature. When there is outside temperature 7 degrees, you burn the glasses, you don't go out. It's too ज़्यादा ठंडी है. So 2 degrees centigrade temperature inside the water. He was asked by the guru, 5 o'clock you have to get up, you stand in that barrel, go inside the barrel at 2 degrees centigrade, and then you practice singing. Because those vibrations you must have seen in not maybe you may not be knowing Vincent Joshi, but other classical singers, so they have got a typical vibration in their voice. That vibration comes because it happens in this winter day. So when you stand in 2-degree water, your voice will be vibrating like that. So that is a way to develop, and they have to listen. Every disciple has to listen to Guru. Whatever वो बोलेंगे, you will have to listen. It is known fact that Vincent Joshi was taught only one classical raga named as Darbari Raga for 7 years. And now if you go to any classical class and you ask them कि हमें classical music सीखना है, singing सीखना है, कितने दिन में आएगा? Listen to the words. कितने दिन में आएगा गाने गाना? और ये गिटार सीखना है, कितने दिन में आएगा? तो दिन में कुछ नहीं होता. These people are learning for years. Only one raga, there are 150 plus ragas. Only one raga for 7 years. How many years would have been taken for him to learn 150 ragas? So point is, Guru culture was there at that time. So he has taken all the classical singers. Bharat Ratna is in it's only 1 award given once in a year. So it is for his dedication and learning. That just reminded me another incident of a painter whose name is Picasso. Again, one of the world famous painter. So one lady, he happened to meet Picasso, and then he requested him, why don't you make my sketch? So Picasso says, again this is WhatsApp forward, so nothing new in it. You might have read it. So Picasso says it will take time. She said, if you be Banana, you are a very great painter, so it's better you make my sketch. So someday she used to come to him regularly and request him. So finally Picasso said, okay, I'll make it. He gave me pen and some paper. He just drafted, and just in 15 minutes he made a sketch and gave it to her. She said, sir, 15 minutes, so why are you taking so much of time? He said, now you go into the market and sell this picture. It will be sold in crores of dollars. She said, could be क्या बोल रहे? But she was not talking in Hindi. I am trying to make it interesting. So she said, ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? सिर्फ 15 मिनट में कुछ millions rupees कैसे मिलेगा? He said, just go and try. And literally, the picture was given, or there was a, जैसे हिंदी में इतने बोली लगा रहे थे. So the people were बोली लगा रहे थे उसके ऊपर. 500 crores or maybe that kind of millions of dollars, and it was sold in some kind of dollars. So she went to Picasso again. She said, how is it possible that in 15 minutes you can make so much amount of money? You teach me all that thing. I also want to make so much amount of money. And how to make the drawing in just 15 minutes and I will get millions of rupees. He said, I made your sketch just in 15 minutes, but then I have learned that for last 30 years. That's why I could make that painting just in 15 minutes. You will have to, are you ready to learn for 30 years? She said, no. मुझे जल्दी सीखा तो 15 मिनट में पिक्चर कैसे बनाना? That really doesn't happen. Where you have to think about this kind of, you have to sacrifice, and then only it is possible. Second, again, Manusya is serving fellow human beings, feeding guests. Don't you do that when the guests come to your home? We know Atiti Devo Bhava, we have been learning in school days. So we have to respect, we have to feed everyone who is coming across, we have to serve, help the people who are around us. That is Manusya. Pitru Yajna, that's going on right now in Maharashtra culture, we call it as Pitru Pandravada. That is going on. So all those are ancestors who have died. We pray them, we give them food on one particular day. In the entire year, we remember them only once in a year. So then we feed them. That is Pitru Yajna, means all your ancestors, previous generations, they need to be worshipped. Buddha Yajna, again, serving every human being, but here the Buddha meaning is animal. So we see that you might be having dogs and cats and all sorts of pet animals in your home. What do we do? We serve them. We help them. But the animal might not give any help. Cat, I don't know what is the help of a cat to us. But then we help them, we feed them, we grow them. And last is, Deva Yajna is worshipping all the god or whichever power you believe. Worshipping doesn't mean that you need to follow a particular god. It's only concentration of the mind. That so Yajna karma means you have to sacrifice for all these. You have to sacrifice for getting the knowledge, you have to sacrifice for your fellow colleagues, you have to sacrifice for the guests, sacrifice for your ancestors, sacrifice for the animals, and sacrifice for the power whom you believe. That is the central thing. What is the time now? 11:50. 10:50. So we'll wait at the 11 o'clock after 10 minutes. Satyam nasti paro dharma means no dharma is higher than the truth. Never go back on your words. J.R.D. Tata has said one small sentence written, I need to go closer. If we had done some things, okay. Now there was a phase in Tata's history that between somewhere 71 to 80, during that decade, Tata had not progressed as is expected, because that time there were other players also in the market, other businessmen also there. But as compared to them, Tatas were not making so much of profit. What J.R.D. Tata said at that time, if we had done some things that other groups have done or other groups have been doing, we would have been twice as big as we are today, but we didn't, and I would not have it any other way. So there were other unethical practices which are done by the other businesses. If we would have done that, we would have also been successful, but we always wanted to be very much ethical. And I'll be giving you this example later onwards. Whenever it comes to ethical companies, Tata's name is always on the top. Tata Steel first, but then all the groups in Tata, they all belong to something Satyam, always ethical behavior. And ethical behavior will always lead to your success. So no dharma is higher than the truth. So you should always be speaking the truth, never go back on your words. But speaking untruth, speaking not the truth has become very common today. Why are you late today for coming home? You will always have some reason which is not real. So the main economics, no duties are made, no duties incurred. That is one of the biggest lessons which all the management students should learn. It is been known that Ratan Tata takes his lunch or dinner with the workers in the canteen. Ratan Tata might be a billionaire, multi-billionaire person. Why you should have a dinner with a person who is drawing a salary of 10,000 rupees? But then it is something to do with the people, the work which the people are doing at the lower level also, their work is also important. It is not an ugly kind of work. The people who clean the toilets, we always think he is a menial person or he is a person who is doing a downgraded kind of work. But then because he is maintaining the health and proper hygiene in the toilet, the hygiene in the around is very well maintained. What has happened during the corona, we know. It was all about cleanliness mainly. The corona told you that you wash your hands twice a day. Before corona, you used to do it. Now maybe for doing it for 1.5 years, now we are used to do it. For every work, before you start with the work, you go and wash your hands. Don't you think that this is a good habit which is developed in you? Why? Because we always consider हाथ धोना, फिर toilet clean करना ये अपना काम नहीं है. You go to your office when you will get into industry, you become a big manager, then there will be peon or there will be surface cleaning people, menial staff, they will be coming cleaning your table. And then whenever you want anything to be clean, आप चाय पी रहे हो, आपने चाय गिरा दी, you press a bell, इसको साफ करो. किसने किया है वो? Dirty. You are done. So what is harm in cleaning that table on your own? I am not only preaching it. I do it on my own. I have been working as a director for 2 institutes in last 11 years. I never used to call my person boy or that mousey to clean my table. If I could see that my table is dirty, I used to take the tissue paper, used to clean it on my own. So you will have to think whether you are ready to do it. If not, then this is the problem. You think that other work, cleaning the tables, cleaning the floors, is some work which is a very lower quality work. So I shouldn't do it. I am a manager now. Why should I do it? There are people under me. They should do it. That is not the case. So no work is ugly. No work is below particular dignity. So you have to consider every work and give the respect of every work. So therefore the peons, the people who are cleaning the toilets, then the watchman at the gate, you have to give the respect. The watchman at the gate will always remember the manager who, even walking out of the campus in his Mercedes Benz, will take the glass down and will give a hand to that watchman. He doesn't do anything for that watchman, but then the watchman will have a lot of respect for this person, only he waves a hand. He may not give him any money, only that respect, because that the manager walking in Mercedes Benz have a respect to the watchman who is doing it from duty officer. And only that respect, because he doesn't consider being watchman as a low dignity duty. You may be a CEO, you might have reached there because you have done PGDM and then you might have got to that level. If that person, watchman, becomes PGDM, he will also become CEO of some company or some other day. Of course, it depends upon individual ability to do that. But there are cases which I'll be telling you not now, purposefully, because we have a less time, where a person who was a peon has become a CEO of the company. I'll be sharing it. So it is possible. So anybody can become your senior at any moment of time in your life. So you have to respect each and every person around. Nahi kachchamapi jatu tishthatte karmakrut means there should not be a single moment. This is the verse from Bhagavad Gita. There should not be a single moment or single second where you are not doing anything. And it is proven by psychology that it is very difficult, even for a moment, even for a minute, not to do anything. Think on this. You might be aware about something called as meditation. What do you do in meditation? Dhyan, concentration. Do you require a God to meditate? No. Meditation is simply concentration of mind. Even at that time, the ideal thing is that you are supposed to remove all the thoughts from your mind. That is meditation. Medical science says that every individual can have 6,400 thoughts at the time when you are awake. Say 6 o'clock you get up and 10 o'clock you go to the bed. During that time you have 6,400 thoughts minimum coming to everybody's mind. And meditation says remove those thoughts from your mind. Remove 6,400 thoughts from your mind. That is meditation, which is the most difficult thing to do. Removing the thought. The first thought will come to your mind, why I am doing it? Why to remove 6,400 thoughts? What happens if we just continue with those thoughts? Yeah. क्या impact करता है? Food? Yes. Yes, very much. But again, we'll come to it when we go to Bhagavad Gita for that matter. Bhagavad Gita is only one entire chapter is based on how do you formulate your personality. There are 3 kinds of people, Sattva, Raja and Tama. And very clearly mentioned that depending upon the kind of food which you eat, it will be decided whether you are a Sattva kind of person or a Raja kind of person or a Tama kind of person. We'll see it in later, maybe today's slides or maybe some later other chapters. But it matters, kind of food which you eat. Okay, so do you agree with this that there is not a single moment where you can be stand still, you are not doing anything. If you are not doing anything, at least you are thinking. That is also an activity. So individually or as a human being, there may not be a single moment where you are not doing anything. Nahi tishthatte karma. Tishthatte means being stable, sitting stable, doing nothing. So without doing any work, you are sitting idle. It's not possible. Rather, it is the other way around. You have to keep on doing certain things at every moment of time, and we do it without we know it or without we know it. So these are the lessons, ideology, or elements of history of Indian ethos. We will take a quick break of 5 minutes. This work.